Oh my goodness, welcome back. Welcome back to post-episode issues. I'm your host, Phil. No, for those of you who tune in all the time, no, I'm not officially in the new studio. I am in the basement. I've been cohabiting for the last couple of months while waiting for everything to finish with the new place I was moving in. And it's been tough to do podcasts here and tough to get on the air. But I was inspired tonight to have to do it with this lo-fi recording, lo-fi video. This is my low stuff. I have tons of cats in the room all surrounding me because they've just been relegated to the basement as well. So we're living with 3 cats and a dog in a disgusting basement. It's really exciting stuff, but not as exciting as tonight for the post-episode issues, post-episode recap of Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot of Gotham. That's why I'm out here, because I thought everything would be handled before today. I was okay with being late on Sons of Anarchy, coming in 3 or 4 weeks later and doing a little catch-up, eating some ketchup with Sons of Anarchy. I was fine with that, but I promised, and I mentioned many times how I would talk about the pilot of Gotham and kind of decide whether I wanted to continue to discuss the show. Now, quickness, some good, some bad. I'm definitely going to continue watching Gotham, but I don't know if there's going to be constant post-episode recaps. I might touch base about Gotham a few times throughout the season, see where we're at, because tonight was a pilot, so I'm going to give it a little bit of a break. There were some elements I did not necessarily like. It suffered from a little bit of pilotitis and a little bit of giving us too much information about what's going on right at first and just throwing it all out there. But they needed to do that for it to get picked up during the whole pilot set situation, so it makes sense to me. But everybody, if this is your first time tuning in, this isn't the usual setup. What we do here is we take TV shows that I watch or Joe watches or some of our other friends that are going to be a part of this watch, and then our immediate reactions to what happens, and then we have discussions and simulate what we do on a daily basis. And shows we've done in the past with Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, and Game of Thrones. And I've been on a little bit of vacation, so I'm in a weird situation. As you can see down here, we've got many cats hanging out. I'm in this with this awful camera, but usually we're a little bit, not quite super fi more, but a little higher fi than this. But it's good to be back. It's good to be up. I'm standing and sort of hovering left and right. I'm hurtling like I gotta take a poop or something. And that's what a little bit about this this pilot of Gotham. That's kind of how it made me feel. A little bit like I have to take a poop. There's a lot of build-up, a little build-up. You ate a lot of really tasty stuff. You heard about it for weeks and weeks at a time, over and over again. Gotham. I mean, this series got more pub than most new movies do. More than like 4th of July blockbusters starring Will Smith in the 90s, early 2000s got. I mean, this was everywhere. They even had a pre-show on at 7:30 before the show started to get you into more Gotham. Like, if I was already tuning in, did I really need the pre-show? I didn't tune into the pre-show. That was too much for me. Too much talking about getting in the element of the city. After Jeopardy was over, I was forced to watch a little bit of it while I was waiting for the show to start, so I got the gist of it in the last 5 minutes. This is an amazing city with a great adventure, and we need to learn about it. And for the most part, I think what they did well in this was set a great atmosphere. I thought the pilot looked great. I thought, for the most part, they got Gotham right, and they got the hierarchy between the criminals and what was going on with the police force as a whole correct. What I don't think that was perfect in it, and we'll go through the episode point by point a little bit. This is going to be a little quicker than what we normally do. I just need to get some immediate thoughts out here. What I think they did well was set the scene, set up some good characters for the future in some of the criminals, some of the rogues gallery. But what I don't think they did great was flesh out our main characters as real people. There was a little bit of we have Ryan Atwood going on there from TV's The O.C. being our Commissioner Gordon, and he wasn't horrible. He seemed like he was trying. I don't think he had a lot to work with emotion. I don't think they were probably directing him to stay very reserved, stay down, because he stayed very down. But if those of you that are familiar with the OC, they were at least able to fit in one little, out of all the Easter eggs that they put in for Batman stuff, they put one OC Easter egg in there, and I really appreciated that. When he was with his girlfriend in the first scene, they made sure they put Ryan Atwood in a wife beater. He needs to wear the wife beater, and I appreciate that they put that in there, whether it was conscious or not. There was some element of love to the OC there, and I really do appreciate that. But everyone, like I said, welcome back to post-episode issues. We'll be moving into the new place probably the first day of October 1st, going in there. So pretty soon after that, I'll have the studio set up, and we'll get the internet going, and I'll be able to get a lot more podcasts, do a lot more recaps, get caught up on Sons of Anarchy, and get primed and ready to talk about The Walking Dead. As I said, with this show, I already can tell you I'm not going to do a week-to-week recap of this. I will talk about certain episodes. I will touch base throughout the year and probably do a season recap at the end. I don't think I could commit to doing recaps about the show every week. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue to watch the show every week to week. It's going to depend a lot on how next week feels out, and if this feels like more of a continuation to a story, or we get the Criminal of the Week type atmosphere. If it's a continuating story, it might suck me in. I do appreciate some of the characters and some of the takes on this universe. I don't want to completely poo-poo this. Batman's really an empty palette and a lot of room for interpretation. I've just never been a huge fan of soap opera superheroes. I like superhero stuff. I love superhero movies. I love comic books. I love cartoons, especially based around Batman, based around Superman. If we're talking about the DC universe, I'm probably the most well-versed with the Batman animated series and the Justice League cartoon and the Superman animated series. That whole general universe, even stretching out to Static Shock and some other stuff like Teen Titans. I'm connected to that particular world. And I feel like, I know some people out there have been trying to get me to watch Arrow and watch Flash, and I would definitely give those shows a shot. Gotham might not completely be my speed, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's talk a little bit about some highlights or some lowlights of what happened. Now we open up to the dark and stormy night with a girl racing on the roof. Who could this girl be that was with the cat-like moves, jumping through the streets? Guess what? It is Catwoman. And she's doing sort of the Anne Hathaway Catwoman thing, a thief running through the night, stepping around. And she steals a wallet, steals some milk so she can go feed a cat. And guess what? This just happened to be the same alleyway that Batman's parents are about to be held up. This is the first clue that we get a little updated version of it. Bruce says that they're coming from a movie later on, and they were not coming from the theater. This is another line later on about Commissioner Gordon's cell phone running out of juice. So I feel like that didn't necessarily match how it looked, but I guess that's supposed to just be Gotham City, how Gotham City looks. But it felt to me as if the style and the time period didn't completely mesh with what they were trying to do. There was a little bit of disunity. And I guess that's the nature of trying to keep a city like Gotham in a time capsule. But I feel like it's so hard because I'm going to do it and I shouldn't do it. And I'm just trying to stop myself from doing it. Comparing it to recent Batman works and compare it to what, say, Christopher Nolan did with Gotham and how he modernized the city but keeping some of the same feelings that Tim Burton or the animated series captured in a time capsule of a period of, not necessarily of the modern times. And I feel like this, in some of the shots of the city from a distance, trying to get a modern feel, but then the style that everyone was wearing and the nature of everything that was going on, I feel like they were trying to do a little bit of both. Whether that's successful or not is yet to be determined. We'll have to see more of the city and more of the interactions, but there was definitely an element of it that's what they were trying to do. And they were trying to balance both buns. They had both buns on their hands, and I think sometimes all the buns fell all over their bodies and they got sticky. Very sticky. So we get the classic Val Kilmer movie shot of the I can't help it. I'm going to be doing this the whole time. This is why I've decided I can't review this show, because I will just be talking about comparisons to other Batman universes and creations and other versions of Batman. And that's what's so tough when you tackle something like this in a TV series and in a soap opera fashion like they seem to be trying to do. When so many people have so many concrete visions of what they think their Batman is. It's difficult. It's difficult. I have some biases that I need to overcome of what I consider the standard of what a Batman show should be, and what I hold everything in comparison to. And that, again, is the Batman animated series. To me, that's the finest depiction of Batman in any visual medium ever. And yeah, I'm a Batman animated series. I'm a Bruce Timm fanboy. Yep. Hey, man, right here, Bruce Timm fanboy. But that doesn't mean I think that Tim Burton didn't have some elements of Batman that I really, really enjoyed, and that obviously inspired Bruce Timm to create what he did. And if it wasn't for that, it wouldn't be that. I like some of the Adam West Batman, and I certainly love the first two Christopher Nolan movies, and I really like some elements of Rises. It's not my favorite Batman, it's not my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, but 6 of one, half a dozen of your mother. So I don't know how I feel about the Catwoman being there during when the parents are killed, and this age gap that they're doing with Selina Kyle and Bruce Wayne. I always thought that they were more on par of the same age, similar to later in the episode when we meet Poison Ivy. I would think that Selina Kyle would be the same age as in that age group, but it seems like they're Padmeing her a little bit. And we might get a little Padme Anakin thing going on there between. That's so hard. Oh yeah, it's gonna be okay someday. So that weirdness is okay now. But I gotta give credit to Fox. They didn't chintz on the murder of the Wayne's parents. It was probably one of the bloodiest versions of that I've ever seen. Even more so than anything we saw Christopher Nolan do, or Tim Burton, obviously. This was bloody and graphic and pretty horrible. And they showed it. And you felt bad for this kid. And then that ends, and you realize quickly after that point that this guy's going to be a side character. And I think that's one of the bigger issues here that some people are dealing with. I do think that this universe, that Gotham City, the Rogues Gallery, things that are going on in Gotham pre-Batman, is a rich enough universe to warrant stories that need to be told. There's a lot of great Batman comics that are just Commissioner Gordon based, or just some other characters in the Gordon family or elements of other parts of Gotham City. Interesting origins of some of the criminals. It warrants a series. It definitely does. And I think some people that might be arguing that, oh, I don't want a Batman series with no Batman. You do get Batman, and I have a feeling Batman Bruce Wayne is going to be a big part of the series. It's just not going to be the Bruce Wayne that you wanted. It's going to be the Bruce Wayne pre and showing his rise up. I'm sure if this show, I think this show would be best versed if they skipped a lot of time, and in certain periods, like certain episodes, go years in between. I mean, maybe that's my urge because I want to see more of the Batman thing, and I want to see how certain decisions can affect long-term problems in Gotham City. How something that Gordon or Bullock can be doing now how that's going to happen years later. So I'd like to see some, if the series continues, maybe some flashes. Not necessarily to have to see Batman, just to see perspectives from different ends, and you play with time a little bit. So we go to Gotham Police Department, and this is the part of the episode I really didn't like. I'm going to yada yada through a lot of this. We meet Gordon and we meet Bullock, and I hated how it was just, we go to Gotham Police Department, we meet everybody. A guy holds up this girl, being like, I need my pills. And we meet Commissioner Gordon shows up, Ben McKenzie shows up, and he just shows that we learn who he is through his actions, which is not too bad. We see him put himself on the line, something none of the other cops in the entire department would do, would make an attempt at this guy. He tackles him, tricks him, gives him fake pills, and then beats the shit out of him, saves the day. His partner, Bullet, gets right on him. Oh, I told you, hotshot. I told you, lumb nuts. I told you. Next time, shoot him so you don't get killed. And they get their silly rapport back and forth, going, hey, numbnuts, you better not do this again, you rookie. Here, Green. Okay, Cheese. And that's the part I didn't like. I did not like Bullock. Granted, I do not like this actor. I did not like him on Sons of Anarchy. I don't like him anytime he shows up. I find his acting cheesy as hell, and I know I'm going to get shit for that because a lot of people love this dude. I can't take him seriously. I want to see him in a comedy with Danny McBride or something like that. I think I'd buy him in that sort of thing. But when he's trying to play any kind of serious character, or in this case where someone told him he's playing a comic book character, so he feels like he has to do as many one-liners as possible to give us as much backstory on him and Gordon in the city as we can in 2 seconds flat. I think the first half of this episode was a lot weaker than the second half. I think the person I was watching it with said this, and I agree. Things got a little bit more interesting, a lot more interesting when we got more into Oswald Cobblepot, got into the whole Penguin stuff, and seeing how what you think he is at first isn't what he really is, and he's just kind of playing a character, and then his switches and how slimy he is, and the couple of things that happened with him. He carried the episode for me. When he showed up in the scene, in the Falcone moment, when Falcone showed up, they were the big moments of the episode that really had me going. The stuff with Ben McKenzie and his girlfriend, with Barbara, this woman, will he marry her, will he won't marry her? I think some of the problem you get with prequels, and I'm not saying this is a prequel of any specific Batman story, because a lot of people will be confused. Is this a prequel to the Nolan universe? It's not. It's not a prequel to anything. It's its own universe altogether. But it is a prequel to the modern Batman story that we know of, in a general sense. And in certain prequel-itis, when you know things happen in the end, when you know certain characters are alive in the end, or you know certain characters get married in the end, it takes away a lot of the suspense, or even in the movie that you know that Woman A is going to get with Man B at the end. Just the potential of doubt. It's not even real. It's just in your mind somewhere. It's there. I swear, it's there. And just having that second of doubt, that quarter of a percentage of not knowing what's going to happen, makes something more interesting to you. In a prequel, or to me anyways, I cannot speak of you, but to me. And to me, when I could give a crap less of any scene about Gordon and his wife, and if they're going to his girlfriend, and if they're going to end up being together. I was zoning out in those scenes. And I was also zoning out in any of the Bullock-Gordon interactions. I just had no interest in that particular thing. And I think that's going to be the problem for me, because those two are the stars of the show. I want the stars of the show to be Gotham City. And it seems like what they're pushing in the pilot anyways is that it's Ben McKenzie's show. And Bullock is going to be the comic relief, the wacky sidekick / at some points antagonist. But to me, the star of the show is Gotham City. It's the Rogues Gallery. It's everything that's going on in the city. And I think they maybe threw too much at the screen. I didn't need to see the little Joker potential cameo. I didn't need to see the... I mean, the Poison Ivy thing was alright, but it wasn't necessary. I don't like the inclusion of Catwoman this early either. But the Penguin stuff, that was awesome. Anything to do with the Penguin tonight, freaking great stuff. Great stuff. So, basically, you know the story. I feel weird talking down the story because at least in this first episode, this is all general stuff that we know, that we can put together, that most people that know anything about Batman know what's about to happen here. Gordon goes, and he's the one that's working the case. And right at the last minute, they're about to go off duty, but they go down, they find Bruce Wayne's parents killed, and Bruce Wayne's sitting there. Bruce won't talk to anybody else. Finally, Gordon goes up to him and talks to him, and Bullock's trying to get off the case because he's scared about it. He's like, I don't want to get into something this serious. You know, I'm lazy. I just want to hang out, and I'm bad at my job. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Let me eat a sandwich. Okay, Bullock. It seems to me, that, but they're like, no, Gordon's talking to the kid already. It's over. And the kid talks to him and says, my name's Bruce Wayne. They learn about the Waynes, and this is a big case. And this is where we learn one thing about Gordon that I thought was interesting and that I didn't know. He says his dad was killed right in front of him as well in a car accident. And this is when we get super cheesy with the dialogue. There will be light, Bruce. Even in the darkness, there will be light. There'll be light. Light, light, light. Don't forget the light, Bruce. Dun, 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 dun. Just some cheesy dialogue that needs to be ironed out a little bit. Bruce tells him what happened, tells him everything. He said I should have done something. Yeah, the kid should have taken some acting classes. And he said, be a strong little man. This is awful. It turned out to be some awful melodrama. But then Alfred comes down and goes, give me that fucking kid. Fucking, you're coming with me. It's like the guy in Braveheart that shows up after William Wallace watches his whole family, his father and his brothers get killed. He's like, oh, your father's dead. You got to get over that. When did it happen? 5 minutes ago. It doesn't matter. You have to get over that. Take the sword. Stab someone with it. So we meet Gordon and Bullock after the commercial break, and they come into a diner, and this is where we get way into the comments by Bullock. Listen, hotshot. Listen, soldier boy. The boss tells me. The boss. It's like all exposition. The boss tells me I can't get you off my case. I can't get you transferred to another person or fired from the police force because you're an army hero and your dad used to be a respected vet around Gotham City. It's like, okay, you know, there's some exposition. Is the exposition dick slapping you across your face, Bullock? Slap it, Bullock. I mean, come on. It was heavy-handed with the bullshit. Bullock's asking. It's some overacting going on, basically, right there. Just more exposition about Gordon being a war hero, having a daddy that was important. Bullock talks shit. And he says, "I'm not lethargic, or I'm not what's he lethargical, or I forget what he keeps saying." He says, blah, blah, blah. And we get a little montage of them interrogating some bad guys and getting onto the case. All leads up to them meeting up with Jada Pinkett Smith, who plays a mob boss named Fish. I believe her name is Fish Mooney. And Fish Mooney works for the Falcone crime family, and we meet her and her little gang of thugs, one of which is Oswald Cobblepot. And he's plays sort of the louse, the shitstorm, the shit heel. We see her beating some guy because he stole some money from her, and she's supposed to be being a badass, but I just don't buy her being a badass. I buy it as much as I buy her hardcore band when she sung for a hardcore band. It just seems like nothing she does is she's disingenuous with everything she does, and there's no difference here. I like Jada Pinkett Smith. I think she seems like an alright person, but in her acting and in her performing, she's always completely disingenuous. Like, I'm acting. Like, if I was doing this podcast like that, like, guys, what you don't get is anyone who likes this show is just stupid. I don't know. It's just a vibe I get from her. Probably my own problem. Yeah, my own problem. So we learn the interactions between these criminals. Oswald does not like to be called Penguin. He finds it offensive. He gets really upset. It's like Marty McFly when someone calls him chicken. He doesn't want to hear it. How many times I tell you don't call me Penguin? Don't call me Penguin. All in all, And Bullock says it's time. Bullock talks to her. She gives him a tip that it's this other guy, that Poison Ivy's father is the guy who shot Bruce Wayne. Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's parents. So we see some more exposition of. We go after this. It goes into some more exposition of the wife stuff I was talking about that I really don't even want to talk about, and except for saying that like I said, Ryan Atwood gets into a wife beater, and we make sure we get that. So they go to see this guy Mario Pepper Daddy, Poison Ivy's daddy. And we get some shooting action. I got them chasing him because he's worried about getting probation. It's kind of a neat action scene. This is when the episode starts to pick up a little bit, and we think we found Bruce Wayne's parents because they find the pearls, the pearl necklace, and it seems like the guy Bullock shoots him, and case solved. They are heroes. Gordon's being stitched up. Because he gets into a knife fight and a good fist fight with him, and everyone's cheering because they're heroes. Yay, yay, yay! They go to Bruce Wayne's funeral, and Bruce thanks Gordon for finding the man, for fake solving the crime. He apologizes to him, and somewhere in this too is the best scene with Oswald Cobblepot. Probably my favorite scene in the episode. To that CVU or something. I have it written down a little lower in my notes of what this place is called. But we see Oswald Cobblepot being a rat. He's ratting on Fish Mooney, telling the cops, or telling the special organization of the cops, the non-crooked cops, which eventually ends up being Gordon's team in the comic books, and in later Batman stories. CVU or something like that. And tells them that it was all set up, that someone in Falcone's organization had the Waynes killed, or someone in there is trying to cover this whole thing up, or force this story, and Oswald was only a patsy. Or Oswald's saying that this guy was only a patsy. I'm just a patsy. And it's pretty interesting, and it makes it look like for a moment, even though we know it's not true, but to these cops, that Bullock and our boy Ryan Atwood, Commissioner Gordon here, Officer Gordon, Detective Gordon, whatever he is, I wasn't clear on that yet, I think Detective Gordon, that they might have been complicit in the situation. Someone tells one of the agents that was being told after the funeral happens off, and after Alfred gets to be an asshole some more. This Alfred's really setting up to be an asshole. Kind of liking it. Kind of like the Alfred. I definitely like the few scenes that this guy's rough around the edges, and I dug his take on Alfred. Someone tells his future wife about the scam, the woman cop that was in there, and they have some weird backstory going on. Does Gordon know about your past? Does he know about us? So I don't know if they had a relationship in college or something, or they have some sort of weird crime that they committed in the past. I'm sure that will get dealt with this season because they laid the seeds for that right there. So we'll see how that what happens with that. Now he talks to the wife. She makes the least subtle comment I've ever heard in my life. Excuse me. No, that's not the comment. Excuse me. It's gonna burp, but it didn't quite come out, guys. We have to be honest here. And she asks Gordon, "Oh, but I'm so happy for you solving the crime. Did you set up the crime?" I'm just kidding. You know that thing when someone says something they really mean, but they don't want to seem too serious about it, so they always say "just kidding" afterwards. "Oh, I really hate you. Just kidding." And so Wayne so after all this, Gordon confronts the MCU. Montoya was her name, and was like, "Listen, what did you know? Tell me what you know." Jack Bauer's "Listen, you don't know who you're fucking with here. I'm not with Bullock. I'm not one of your standard pig cops that are in this game for lining my pockets with Falcone Scarzul. I'm trying to get to the truth here. I made a promise to a little boy." "You go, Ryan Atwood." It's probably the most animated he got all episode. And he's yelling at them. And then he has a standoff with Bullock about the shiny shoes and that he figured it out, and even if he didn't get the evidence from her, know exactly what she knows, he knows because of the shiny shoes thing, that because he went to this kid's house, he went and did a little bit more investigating, went back to Ivy's house. That was the kind of cheesy scene with her giving him the finger and the mother giving them the finger. They don't seem awful sad that their father/husband's dead, but they seem pissed off at the cops. I'm not even going to mention all the little Easter eggs that pop up. I thought maybe one or two would have been nice, but we got saturated with it, and it kind of started to piss me off after a while. I was like, just be proud of the story that you're telling. You don't need to throw in all this stuff. And that's one of the things I was talking about at the beginning. It might be a pilotitis, that because it's a pilot, they wanted to get in as much as they possibly could. I understand that. That's why I'm going to wait and definitely give this show a second watch and see how I feel about the second episode. As I said, I'm not promising, I'm not committing to doing recaps of this show every week, but I'm going to be watching it, at least trying to watch it, and it will be DVR'd. And I will give it a shot and see how I feel after episodes. And I might come on and go, this was the greatest episode of a television series I saw all year, and that I have to talk about it, or something so horribly bad. But I feel like my exact reaction of this show was, it was all right. It didn't have anything. I'm curious about to see what's going to happen with the Penguin story. That's enough to make me want to tune back in. But it didn't have much more than that. For me, as I've mentioned many times, I didn't love any of the main characters, and I want to see how much certain villains and certain people are going to be a part of the show, and how the show takes shape. If it ends up just being the Gordon show, that might scare me away. So Gordon decides to do the stupid thing and goes down and talks shit to Jada Pinkett and gives her fish face, blah, 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 blah. And it ends up leading into Ryan Atwood kicking some ass, but then Jada Pinkett Smith sneaks up behind him quietly and hits him over the head with a glass bottle, which knocks him out. And he gets taken to the Rocky factory and hung up like meat. Bullock shows up to save him, and more or less Fish fucks with him and decides to do the same thing to him and hangs him upside down. But he tells her one piece of important information that someone in her organization ratted. So she figures out that it's Oswald Cobblepot and gets really pissed off, and she's about to and then that cuts away, so we don't really know what happens with them, but we know that that Fish wanted them to be killed, hacked up to pieces. So we see someone come out with a big hatchet to hack them up to pieces, and saves the day is Falcone, the mob boss guy. Shows up and shoots some of the other guys and saves Gordon. We get a little more backstory, a really good scene with Falcone, where he talks about how Gordon's dad and him had a friendship. He was the best DA that he knew, and listen, I didn't have the Waynes killed. It was just some random guy. But this city, I care about the city. The city needed an answer to that. That crime could have just gone unsolved. So, yeah, I manipulated the police force to put out this lie, to pick somebody that's a shithead anyway. And he's a criminal, so let him suffer. Whatever. You think I don't care about this town? I do what I can to protect this place. And Gordon just doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut here. And just talks a lot of shit. And says, listen, buddy, I'm not going to take your shit. I'm going to do things my way. The Ryan Atwood way. And Falcone just kind of walks off and he says, take care of it. You're an idealist. It's basically the big setup. This town needs a symbol. I wonder who it needs. It needs a Batman. It doesn't need you, Jim Gordon. You're not going to be able to do it alone. I don't care what happens. So we end up getting to Bullock and Jim showing up. Bullock shows up and he says, listen, I might be lackadaisical in my job and in my work appearances, but I got a message to tell you. Falcone says either you take this rat and it's Cobblepot that's been ratting to the police. You take him down the pier, shoot him in the back of the head, throw him in the water. Or if you don't do that, I'll kill you. Listen, it might be lackadaisical, but I don't want to get killed, and I care about my own self-being. I don't want to kill you, but I'll do my best. I thought this was the best line that guy had all night. I won't kill you, but I'll do my best. And I thought I skipped over one of my favorite parts when Fish, Jada Pinkett Smith, had Oswald Cobblepot, had Penguin set up. She goes, listen, I didn't rat to you. If you gave me a knife right now, I'd slit my own veins. And she goes, oh, okay. It gives him wipes off a knife, gives him a knife, and goes, go ahead and do it. And he goes, well, I was speaking metaphorically. And then she calls him Penguin, and he charges at her and gets hit in the back of the head. So he starts screaming to Gordon while Gordon's marching him down the pier, and it looks like Atwood might actually shoot him in the back of the head, unless you know anything about anything. Please, there's a war coming. I'm clever. I can help you. I can turn him around. I can let you know what's going on. I can be your man on the inside. Leave me alive. And he whispers, and Gordon whispers to him, don't come back to Gotham. And he shoots kind of right next to his head to make it look like he shot him, and then just pushes him into the water. And he's all to kind of protect Barbara and protect what he did and protect himself. He's starting to learn how to play the game a little bit. So we go to Wayne Estates, and we're going to see Bruce, and we see him getting ready to jump off the roof as Gordon pulls up. And Gordon's like, wait, what are you doing? Don't fun on the roof, hey! And Alfred's like, Bruce is getting smarter. He understands everything. And Alfred's just being a dick. He's like, oh, you're an idiot. Stupid cop. Can't do shit. Nice work, mate, getting the wrong man. And Bruce says he understands that it was all set up because Gordon tells him basically everything. He goes, I understand, and I'm kind of glad because I'm glad this guy's alive. I want to see him again. Okay. And he said, I'm going to clean up this, please give me a second chance. I'm going to clean up this city. Stay silent. Stay silent. And Alfred starts talking to him. We're not going to stay silent. We're not going to do that. And Bruce shuts him up. Goes, listen, Alfred, shut up. Yes, Gordon. I promise. I'll be there for you and keep my mouth shut, and we'll work together later. As we see across the river, Penguin washes up to shore. We know he's alive, and he's huddling around doing his little penguin walk. And we see a bum with a sandwich and a knife. And the Penguin just this is one of my favorite scene of the night, last scene. He grabs the knife, slits the guy's his throat, and then picks up the sandwich and eats the sandwich. Oh, that's it's my sandwich, bitch. It's my sandwich. Discard this. So everybody, this was that's about it. What I thought of the Gotham, I thought it was decent enough. It wasn't inspired me to want to talk about this every week, but I had a good time with it. I'm gonna see if Joe watched it. I haven't had a chance to touch base with Joe Dirtylocks about this yet. I'm scared of my signal just in this basement that I'm in right now. Forget trying to get another person on the Hangout right now. But I'm curious what his thoughts are, and we'll see. I will definitely talk about this show again before the end of the year. Maybe do something towards every few episodes. Maybe talk about one that inspires me to discuss something. But anyways, I just need to get back out here. I was going through podcasting withdrawals. Sorry if this is a little bit of a lo-fi, have to do it in a basement, not the usual level of whatever that I try to bring to you guys. Pretty soon this adventure of being homeless will be over, and we'll be back to normal area in a genuine studio just meant for post-episode Issues for Issues program stuff. I'd like to thank everybody for your comments on the videos that we have been able to put out this summer of some of our convention coverage, and everybody that was a big part of everything we did last year with The Walking Dead, or this past year, still this year, with The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. It meant a lot to me, all the comments, and everybody went with wishing me luck and your support through my move and through this extended break. We might take breaks in the future, but a break will never be this long again. We'll keep bringing you content here over the next of this fall into the winter, and I look forward to talking to you guys more. So thank you. This is Post-Episode Issues. Please check out issuesprogram.com. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, especially if you made it this far in the video. If you have anything to say about Gotham, you disagree with my silly rant right now, or you agree with anything I say, please join in the discussion in the comments section. Or you can call in and leave me a message at 781-990-8509. Look forward to hearing from you. Look forward to talking. Look forward to talking to you guys again in a slightly more clear setting, with a clearer microphone and a better camera so you can see my dorkiness. Thank you so much, everybody. It was great to talk to you again. Later.